Story 1. In the heart of a small, forgotten town nestled between misty hills and ancient trees, there stood an arcade frozen in time. The paint on its sign had long peeled away, and its neon lights flickered sporadically, casting eerie shadows on the desolate street. Locals spoke in hushed tones about the haunted arcade, a place where the spirits of long-lost gamers still roamed, trapped in the pixelated realm of the haunting pixels. Enter Jake, a young man with a penchant for exploring the paranormal. Drawn by the mysterious tales surrounding the arcade, he arrived in town seeking adventure. Armed with a backpack containing a flashlight, a notebook, and his trusted camera, Jake approached the decaying entrance of the haunted arcade. The creaking door protested as he pushed it open, revealing a dimly lit interior that seemed frozen in the 1980s. Rows of dusty arcade machines lined the walls, their screens casting an ethereal glow in the darkness. The air was thick with nostalgia and a subtle undercurrent of unease. As Jake ventured deeper into the arcade, he noticed a faded sign pointing to the basement. Legends whispered of a hidden game, the haunting pixels, tucked away from the prying eyes of the curious. Ignoring the warning signs, Jake descended a narrow staircase, each step echoing in the cavernous silence. In the basement, he discovered an old, neglected machine covered in a dusty cloth. The aura around it seemed charged with a spectral energy. With a sense of trepidation, Jake uncovered the relic, revealing a vintage arcade cabinet with the words, "The Haunting Pixels," emblazoned on its marquee. The game's screen flickered to life, displaying pixelated graphics that transported Jake to a world reminiscent of classic horror films. The protagonist, a pixelated version of himself, stood in an eerie digital landscape. As he played, the line between the virtual and the real began to blur. The initial levels of the game were deceptively simple, but with each passing stage, the atmosphere grew more ominous. Strange occurrences unfolded in the real world as Jake progressed. Shadows seemed to dance on the walls, and the air became charged with an otherworldly presence. Still, the thrill of the paranormal adventure kept him pushing forward. As the game progressed, the pixelated realm started mirroring the decaying reality of the haunted arcade. Jake's digital counterpart faced ghostly adversaries and navigated through glitched environments that mirrored the dilapidated state of the basement. It was as if the game drew inspiration from the very essence of the arcade's haunted history. The whispers of long-lost gamers echoed through the pixelated corridors, their voices carried by the wind of forgotten memories. The digital world became a canvas of spectral apparitions, each level unraveling a cryptic narrative of the spirits trapped within the haunting pixels. It was as if the game served as a purgatory for the lost souls of gamers past. One fateful night, as Jake delved deeper into the haunted pixels, he encountered a character that resembled a ghostly version of himself. The apparition spoke in fragmented sentences, revealing a tragic tale of a gamer who had become entangled with the haunted arcade in the bygone era. The ghostly entity warned Jake of the consequences of meddling with the spectral realms, urging him to abandon the game before it consumed his essence. Undeterred by the spectral warning, Jake pressed on, determined to uncover the secrets within the haunting pixels. The game took a malevolent turn, challenging him with puzzles that seemed to reach into his own memories and fears. It was as if the digital realm had gained sentience, adapting to Jake's psyche and exploiting his vulnerabilities. In the real world, the arcade became a realm of shadows and echoes. The flickering neon lights cast distorted silhouettes on the walls, and whispers of long-lost gamers reverberated through the empty corridors. Jake's journey through the haunting pixels had awakened something dormant within the haunted arcade, a force that sought to merge the boundaries between the digital and the tangible. One night, as Jake reached the final level of the game, the arcade plunged into darkness. The haunting whispers grew louder, and the air became suffocating. The ghostly version of Jake from the game manifested in the real world, standing before him with hollow eyes and pixelated features. "You've trespassed into realms unknown, mortal," the digital apparition spoke, its voice a distorted blend of electronic tones and ethereal echoes. To escape, you must face the ultimate challenge and confront the darkness that lurks within. The haunted arcade transformed into a nightmarish amalgamation of pixelated horrors and distorted reality. The boundaries between the virtual and the real were shattered, and Jake found himself trapped in a surreal landscape that defied the laws of both worlds. As he navigated through the final level, the digital and physical realms merged into a chaotic tapestry of horror. Jake faced pixelated manifestations of his deepest fears and regrets. The ghostly apparitions of long-lost gamers reached out, pleading for release from the haunting pixels that imprisoned them. In a climactic confrontation, Jake encountered the source of the malevolence, the pixelated embodiment of the haunted arcade's dark history. The entity, a swirling vortex of corrupted code and vengeful spirits, sought to assimilate Jake's essence into the digital purgatory. With courage forged from desperation, Jake confronted the malevolent force. The battle between the tangible and the virtual reached a crescendo, each pixel of the haunted arcade resonating with the struggle for liberation. The apparitions of lost gamers, fueled by Jake's determination, joined the fight against the malevolent entity. In a blinding burst of light, the haunted arcade seemed to fold in on itself. The malevolent force dissipated, and the pixelated horrors that plagued both the digital and physical realms faded away. Jake found himself standing in the now silent arcade, the neon lights flickering weakly as if recovering from the ordeal. The ghostly version of himself from the game materialized one last time, offering a solemn nod of gratitude. As the apparition dissipated, a profound stillness settled over the haunted arcade. The whispers of long-lost gamers were replaced by an eerie silence, and the pixelated landscapes of the haunting pixels vanished from the game's screen. As Jake stepped out into the quiet night, the haunted arcade stood as a silent witness to the paranormal odyssey that had unfolded within its decaying walls. The legend of the haunting pixels became a cautionary tale among the few who knew of its existence, a story whispered in hushed tones by those who dared to explore the haunted realms of digital nostalgia. For Jake, the experience left an indelible mark on his soul. The boundaries between the virtual and the real had blurred, and the haunted arcade had become a testament to the enduring connection between the tangible and the ethereal. As he walked away from the quiet town of Havenridge, the flickering neon lights of the arcade cast long shadows, hinting at the haunted pixels that lingered just beyond the edge of perception, a spectral reminder that some mysteries were better left untouched. Story 2. In the bustling city of Arcadia, there was a gaming convention that attracted enthusiasts from far and wide. Among the attendees was Sarah, an avid gamer with a passion for exploring the darker realms of the virtual world. Little did she know that her journey through the convention would lead her to a haunting encounter with a ghostly presence trapped within an old gaming console. The convention was a vibrant spectacle, with neon lights, cosplayers, and the buzz of excitement filling the air. Sarah, accompanied by her gaming friends, immersed herself in the sea of gaming booths, each showcasing the latest and greatest in the world of interactive entertainment. However, an unassuming booth tucked away in a corner caught her eye. The booth had an air of mystery surrounding it, with a faded banner that simply read, "Game Over, the ultimate horror experience." Intrigued, Sarah approached and found a dusty, old gaming console with an archaic controller lying beside it. The vendor, an elderly man with a cryptic smile, told her that the game on display was said to be haunted, a cursed relic from the past. Undeterred by superstition, Sarah accepted the challenge and settled into the worn-out gaming chair. The screen flickered to life, revealing a game called Ghost Console. The graphics were reminiscent of a bygone era, and an eerie silence enveloped the booth as she delved into the supernatural world of the haunted game. As Sarah progressed through the levels, a chilling narrative unfolded. The protagonist, a digital representation of herself, explored haunted landscapes and faced malevolent spirits. The controller vibrated with an otherworldly energy, sending shivers down her spine. The convention hall seemed to fade away as Sarah became immersed in the haunting atmosphere of the game. As the story reached its climax, the boundaries between the digital and physical worlds began to blur. Sarah felt a cold breeze, and the gaming booth seemed to transform into a spectral realm. Startled, she tried to pause the game, but the controller was unresponsive. Panic set in as she realized she was no longer in control. The ghostly apparitions from the game materialized around her, their pixelated forms taking on an unsettling semblance of reality. The convention hall had vanished, replaced by a surreal landscape of twisted corridors and flickering lights. Sarah's heart raced as she navigated through the eerie environment, desperately searching for an escape from the clutches of the ghostly entities. In a moment of dread, Sarah found herself face to face with a spectral figure that mirrored her in-game character. The ghostly presence whispered cryptic messages, revealing a tragic tale of a gamer who had perished while playing the cursed game. Sarah, now trapped in the haunted console, realized that she had become part of the ghostly narrative, forever entwined with the digital spirits that sought release. The surroundings grew increasingly surreal as Sarah traversed through glitched landscapes and encountered twisted versions of familiar gaming elements. The ghostly figures became more insistent, their whispers echoing in her mind, urging her to uncover the truth behind the cursed game. The boundary between reality and the digital nightmare became increasingly tenuous. As Sarah reached the final level, a chilling revelation awaited her. The ghostly protagonist she controlled was an echo of the lost gamer's soul, and the only way to break free from the haunted console was to confront the lingering spirits and unravel the mystery that bound them to the game. With determination, Sarah faced the spectral entities, navigating through a series of harrowing challenges that mirrored the tragic events surrounding the haunted console. Each puzzle she solved and each ghostly encounter she overcame brought her closer to the truth, but the price of revelation weighed heavily on her sanity. In a climactic confrontation, Sarah discovered the source of the curse, a malevolent entity that had merged with the gaming console, trapping the souls of those who dared to play. With a surge of courage, she confronted the entity and battled it within the digital realm. The haunted console glitched and flickered as the struggle ensued, the outcome uncertain. As the final showdown reached its peak, a blinding light engulfed Sarah, and the ghostly apparitions faded away. She found herself back in the convention hall, the gaming booth now empty and abandoned. The haunted console had vanished, leaving behind only a sense of lingering dread. Sarah, shaken and disoriented, stumbled out of the booth to find the convention hall eerily silent. The once vibrant atmosphere had been replaced by an unsettling stillness. Her friends were nowhere to be found, and the convention attendees had vanished without a trace. Haunted by the memories of her ordeal, Sarah left the convention hall with a newfound respect for the power of the digital realm. The cursed game, Ghost Console, had left an indelible mark on her, a chilling reminder that the line between the real and the virtual could blur in the most unexpected and terrifying ways. As she walked away from the convention, Sarah couldn't shake the feeling that the ghostly presence from the haunted console lingered in the shadows, a spectral entity forever bound to the digital world, waiting for the next unsuspecting gamer to fall into its haunted embrace. The legend of the cursed game lived on, a cautionary tale whispered among gamers who dared to explore the darker side of the gaming realm. Story 3. In the quiet town of Havenridge, there existed an old gaming studio known for creating some of the most immersive and mysterious video games. One fateful day, a renowned game developer named Michael decided to delve into the depths of a project long forgotten by the gaming community, a game so ominous that it had been abandoned halfway through development. Little did he know that by unlocking the secrets of this forsaken project, he would unleash a digital nightmare that transcended the boundaries between reality and the virtual realm. Michael had always been drawn to the obscure and the unexplored in the world of gaming. His curiosity led him to discover an old hard drive containing the remnants of a game simply labeled the Unplayable level. The studio's records provided little information about the game, and its existence seemed like a forgotten footnote in the history of game development. Intrigued by the mystery surrounding the abandoned project, Michael decided to revive it and complete what had been left undone. As he delved into the code and assets of the Unplayable level, Michael sensed an unsettling aura surrounding the game. The files were corrupted, and the fragments of code seemed to resist any attempts at deciphering their true nature. Undeterred, Michael spent countless nights unraveling the enigma, determined to bring the forsaken game back to life. The moment he successfully compiled the code and launched the game, a palpable tension filled the air. The screen flickered, and Michael found himself standing in a digital realm that defied the conventions of game design. The environment was an abstract landscape of glitched textures and distorted geometry, a nightmarish realm that transcended the boundaries of the digital world. As Michael navigated through the unsettling landscapes, he realized that the Unplayable level was a game unlike any other. The rules of reality seemed to bend and twist, and the game's objective remained elusive. There were no clear goals, no defined enemies, only an ominous atmosphere that permeated every pixel of the screen. The digital nightmare escalated as Michael encountered bizarre anomalies within the game. Objects defied the laws of physics, and the environment shifted unpredictably. As he progressed, the boundary between the virtual and the real world began to blur. Michael started experiencing strange phenomena in his own apartment: shadows that moved on their own, whispers that echoed through the darkness, and a chilling presence that lingered just beyond his perception. In a moment of realization, Michael understood that the game had become a conduit for something far more sinister. The corrupted code had unleashed a malevolent force that transcended the confines of the digital realm, seeping into the fabric of his reality. The lines between the game and his own existence were irrevocably blurred. Desperation set in as Michael sought a way to escape the digital nightmare he had unleashed. The haunting landscapes of the Unplayable level seemed to reflect the chaos infiltrating his own life. He encountered glitches that mirrored the anomalies in his apartment and faced digital manifestations of the malevolent force that had taken root in the real world. As he navigated through the increasingly distorted levels, Michael stumbled upon cryptic messages embedded in the game's code. The messages hinted at a forgotten experiment conducted by the gaming studio, an attempt to create a parallel dimension within the digital space. The Unplayable level was meant to be a bridge between worlds, a gateway to the unknown. Fueled by a desperate need to sever the connection between the digital nightmare and his reality, Michael delved deeper into the heart of the game. The final level loomed ahead, a chaotic maelstrom of glitched textures and spectral entities. The malevolent force, now fully manifested, taunted him with echoes of long-forgotten experiments and the consequences of meddling with the boundaries of existence. In a climactic confrontation, Michael faced the source of the digital nightmare, a nightmarish entity born from the twisted experiments of the gaming studio. The creature, a grotesque amalgamation of corrupted code and malevolence, sought to merge the digital and real worlds into a chaotic amalgam of existence. A harrowing battle ensued as Michael fought to prevent the malevolent force from crossing over into the real world. The digital landscapes shifted and contorted, reflecting the struggle between the virtual and the tangible. With every move, Michael felt the weight of the digital nightmare pressing against the fabric of reality. As the battle reached its zenith, Michael uncovered a hidden truth: the only way to seal the breach and banish the malevolent force was to sacrifice his own connection to the digital world. In a moment of profound decision, he accepted the consequences and made the ultimate sacrifice, severing the link between the game and reality. The screen went dark, and Michael found himself back in his apartment, the haunting whispers silenced, and the shadows at rest. The corrupted code of the Unplayable level was erased, and the malevolent force that had threatened to spill into the real world was vanquished. The gaming studio, now an abandoned relic of the past, held no more secrets. However, the ordeal left Michael forever changed. The boundary between the digital and the real had left an indelible mark on his psyche. The gaming community, unaware of the horrors he had faced, continued to explore the realms of virtual reality, oblivious to the dangers that lurked on the other side of the screen. As Michael reflected on the nightmare he had unleashed and the sacrifices made to seal the breach, he couldn't shake the feeling that, somewhere in the depths of the digital world, echoes of the unplayable level lingered. A cautionary tale etched into the code of forgotten games, a reminder that some boundaries were never meant to be crossed. Thank you for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe, like, comment and turn on notifications if you enjoyed the video so you never miss an upload.